All right, and I am one of those people. Let's do all video. If I'm going to be on video, so are you. Okay, let's see. All right. So my name is Mike O'Donnell. I'm the transaction coordinator for the Corby Home team. I used to be the MCA of this market center and made a transition in November. So today we're going to go over the database. Let me see. Is everyone, that might be too awkward to pop through and have everyone say, I'm just going to scroll through and see who everyone is. Feel free to use the comments or to just jump right on with video. Okay. Let's see. Let's try to move my Zoom thing. So can everyone see the display screen? Or does it, it's not just a black window around it? Okay, perfect. All right, so today we're going to discuss your database and how important that is to your business. Let's see. And I know that you guys have probably all introduced yourself to each other. I'm just, since there's nobody in person here today, I'm just gonna assume that you all know each other or have met each other in one way or another, or if anybody wants to go around and introduce yourselves, whichever works best.
I'll introduce myself. I'm Marlo Cronquist and just got my license in January, and I am with the Odd Couple team.
Awesome, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Michael. I'm also a new agent. Though I got my license in February, so a little newer. I think probably just by a week than you, Marlo.
Awesome, nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth. I also got my license in February and I'm doing a mother-daughter team with my mom, Susie.
Awesome, welcome.
And I'm the mother of that. Susie
Hi.
Williamson. Hi, Elizabeth's mom. Licensed in February.
Awesome, welcome. All right. Perfect. All right, well, let's get it started. And like I said, it's fully, anybody has any questions, any ideas, any comments, just pop in. There's no one in the classroom today, so if anyone does show up, I'll be sure to recite what their question was so everybody can understand what I'm talking about. Yeah. So obviously the goal of Ignite in this part being Spark is we want to get you into business as soon as possible. We want to see you on your first appointment within 2 weeks, and then we want you to see if we can get you to have new business under contract within 30 days. Oops. 1 second. This is not my laptop, so I'm learning how it works. So every single day we see that agents are either growing their business or running their business. Can anyone tell me what the difference between these two things are and what comes to mind when you see this?
I think in my mind, running business is like treading water, whereas growing is like swimming forward.
Totally. What we have to see is most business that we're trying to generate isn't going to happen for 30 to 90 days. So it's really important that we're lead generating for both buyers and sellers, making seller listing presentations and getting those listings. And you need to be out there previewing real estate. You need to know what's going on. And then running your business is doing those everyday steps, what it takes to make sure that you're still going through your day to day. So they both perfectly work with each other, but they're two very different things. Let's see, it's working. So today we're just going to focus on lead generating for buyers and sellers. How has everybody been doing so far with lead generating? 2 comments and we'll move on.
Well, it's a process. It's a lot. I mean, I've been a business owner for years, but this is real estate is a whole different ballgame. I'm an artist. My background is in art. I'm a glass artist, furniture designer. So it's a totally different type of lead generating. And I'm on a team. And for me, that works really well because I have the support to get the lead generation, which is really helpful because there is so much to learn when you first start. I'm still working through the technical side of it all, but I'll get there. So
awesome. Anyone else? Thoughts on lead generation? Love it, hate it, learning it?
I am slowly getting used to it. I feel like it makes me very uncomfortable. I will be honest. I'm not like a very pushy person, and I feel like I don't want to bother people. You know, I'm such a people pleaser, and I think that's where I really struggle with it. But the more I've been doing it, I realize like people actually aren't that scary, and they're really willing to talk to you. So yeah,
Totally.
Getting better, but yeah, it's a work in progress.
It's definitely one of those activities that is time on task. The more you do it, the better you'll get. You'll find out, whoa, that was a horrible approach. Whoa, this is a great approach. And you'll kind of find what your groove is and how it works best for you. So good. And really the only way to learn is to like get out there and practice. Awesome. So now we're just going to go over the basics. We're going to bring it right down to the studs here. Like, what is a database? When you hear database, what are you thinking of?
Or contacts.
Mm-hmm. Totally. It's a sphere that you can basically, like a nice way to think about it too is like if you had like a paper route, everybody on your paper route is in your database. But if you're a realtor, your paper route is everyone you've ever been in connection, and you want to be their source of all real estate news. So it's kind of building your own following. And what is the benefit of using a database instead of just being like, oh, no, I'll meet people. I'm going to see somebody out there. Everyone's going to want to buy a house. But why do we always go back to that database?
well, the hope is that they'll refer business to you, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that is referral is incredibly important. In whatever kind of business usually you're in, it's super important to tap into that database because it will just grow from there, right?
Totally. It's like an animal. It's like a pet. It's it's a living, breathing thing. You have to give it life to get life out of it.
Right.
Totally. All right. 1 second.
I think the other thing is that it just helps you stay organized. At least I feel like Command is pretty well organized, and you can go back and see who you've talked to and when, and set them up on smart plans. And it's a great organizational tool, I think.
I'm 100% there with you. On our team, we use Top Producer, and I am in that constantly all day. And it keeps me on track of exactly what I'm supposed to be doing throughout an entire day. And I love it. It works the same way as it gets the same job done as Command. So if I didn't have a database, if you said somebody's name to me, I'd be like, I have no idea who that is. And if I looked their name up, I'd be like, oh, this person, they bought a house on this street last year. They have 3 kids. They do that. So it's like your info bank. Awesome. So yeah, the big picture of a database, it's a well-tended database will produce leads. A powerful database managed by a powerful schedule produces a predictable flow of leads. And then from the predictable flow of leads, you can expect a predictable flow of business. It's how you can gauge your business and set yourself up for success. So you're like, great, I'm doing great now. 3 months from now, I know I'll also be doing great because I have these nurturers in my database and I have these people I'm working with and I'm feeding it. If you're somebody out there who can remember every single person you've ever done business with and what businesses provide the best services and all that stuff, and you don't need a database, I want to meet you because I would love to learn that because it's really not possible. So we need to use leverage and lean on our database. And that way we can nurture and get it so business is steady. We know that I'm nurturing my database and I don't have to worry about my family eating 3 months from now, 6 months from now, because I'm putting in the work now to make sure that we are set up for success moving forward. So when you hear like database, feed it, nurture it, it's everything. What comes to your mind? Like what do you think of in your mind to be like, yes, I need to use a database because of X, Y, and Z? Because for everyone, it's going to be a little different. Is anybody having trouble getting their database started?
Yeah, it's challenging. It definitely is. Even the people that you're comfortable reaching out to, just getting everything uploaded and you know, for me, I do have a large fear of people that I am connected with, but I don't have all of their contact info. And so that can be daunting, just finding out like, oh, I don't have when's the last time I wrote a letter? Recently, a lot, because on my team, we have to get out 20 letters or 20 handwritten notes a week. And that's a great thing, but it is very daunting and it's hard. It's hard. And I'm not shy about reaching out, but you don't always get a response either, even with your closest family and friends. So you just have to keep kind of pushing, gently nudging. And that is not the easiest thing, I think, all the time until you get more comfortable with it. I think, and then it'll become second nature, but I'm hoping. So
totally.
Yeah.
That makes me think of, I came from the hospitality industry before real estate, and there's this author, Danny Meyer, Setting the Table. And his thing is it's constant, gentle pressure. You just got to keep your foot on the gas. You don't have to like drive through a wall, but just keep going with it. And with your database that you have these names, but not the contacts, that's almost, make it a game, make it a scavenger hunt. Okay, I have 10 names today, and if I get 8 out of those 10 addresses, I'm gonna do this. You gotta make it fun. You have to make it a little different.
It is hard. Hi, can I check?
Yes.
So it is hard for me as well, because sometimes, you know, the people that I know, they either don't have an email or they are like, you know, they don't want to give their address. So that's kind of hard when that happens. So most, like in my case, most of the people that I know that I can get business with is in through social media. And it's, you know, like Facebook, Instagram. So most of the time I just use Messenger or something like that.
Yeah, of course. And there are going to be those people, right? The people are like, no way. You don't need to know where I live, all that stuff. Great, I'll get your address when I sell you your next house. Put that in your head. Don't say that to them.
Okay.
But put that in your head. And like, if you're working with social media and it's working, that doesn't mean that you should be doing it the other. It's everyone's database is going to be so different, and it's going to be like specific to them and how they work, how they know their friends. It depends on what generation you're in, what your preferred method of contact is. But yeah, if you're not getting the address from them, you don't like beat yourself up over it, because there are certain ones that you're like, nope, that address I'm not going to get. I have a phone number, I have an email, great.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Can I ask a question about this? It's kind of slightly off topic, but some people, like, I've looked up people's addresses in the MLS, like
Mhm.
from the tax. Is there any, I mean, if I know like, okay, they live in Inver Grove Heights and this is their first and last name and whatever, I mean, is that like unethical to do, or what are your thoughts on that?
Like if you look them up in the ML, like their tax records,
And then enter it, yeah, and then enter it, and then I just put it into command.
yeah, I read the public domains to public domain. So
Yeah,
you're good with that one. It would just be more
Okay.
so like if you were like, if you followed them home, that's when I would think, okay, we might have a problem here.
okay, cool.
I get it. So yeah, so the internet is wonderful. You can find almost anything out there. And yeah, you just kind of have to be like ready to go like, okay, I'm gonna have this person's phone number, but not their address. I have this person's address, not their phone number, but their kind of piece it together. And eventually you'll earn their trust and you'll get their address and they're gonna be like, oh my God, you always send the nicest Christmas card or holiday card. So it takes a little time, but you'll get there. All right, so I think we already kind of went over these, like what is the purpose of your database? Obviously to feed your business, to make sure that we have leads coming through, we're nurturing people, repeat business, referrals. Do you know that a lot of real estate agents, when they actually leave the industry, will sell their entire book of business? They'll sell their database. Everybody. So what other industries do you think are using a database for prospecting and marketing? Facebook's a database.
Facebook, Instagram, like all of the
LinkedIn.
social media, especially. Yeah.
Mhm. It's and then you can take the contacts over, but when we're on Facebook, we're in Facebook's database. Like I know sometimes you like, oh, I need to buy light bulbs, and all of a sudden there's a Facebook ad for light bulbs. You're like, okay, I don't know what they're doing, but that's database. We don't have that power, but what other about getting all that information in your database is so important when it comes to marketing? Like getting an address, getting a phone number.
Well, to continue the connection, to start a drip plan, to make sure you're reaching out and connecting, because they might not be ready to buy or sell at the moment, but in the future, potentially they could be, or they know somebody that could be. So building those relationships is incredibly important.
Totally. And like, what if you had a client who was like, I want to move, I want you to find me a house, and I want to live in only this neighborhood. Could we search our database for people in our database who live in that neighborhood and market right to them? And then,
which is
So, yeah.
incredibly important in a market like this right
For
now.
sure.
So yes, yeah.
What databases have you guys like worked with maybe in a past job and now you're realizing, oh my, that was a database. I didn't even realize that we were doing that.
Oh, definitely Facebook. I mean, I guess I've used that through my art background and through my business doing that. But more so now than ever, I'm relying on that as a database. Like this is where I'm getting a lot of, 5,000 friends on Facebook, a lot of them around the world, but the ones that are local or even not local, because you can get business through referrals or somebody that's transferring. Or like my brother just moved to Arizona and his sister-in-law is going to be moving there. So I could potentially find a Keller Williams agent there and then get a referral. So there's
100%.
that is super, super important, I think, for me.
So when we're thinking about this database and we think we're on Facebook, right? We see 1,000 different things. I don't know. I'm on real estate Facebook. Every single thing is about a house or a house for sale, a house that's sold, 7,000 offers. Think of how many times a real estate agent, even subconsciously, is being put in front of a person. So if you have people in your database that you're not actively marketing to, other agents are. So that's like where you're like, if you feel like, oh, I hope I'm not bugging them, you better bug them because somebody else will, or else they're gonna but somebody else is gonna snag them. So just keeping yourself in communication with them 36 times a year is the ideal amount, but Does anybody have any questions or like ahas that are coming up right now, or like, what is he saying? Who is he? What's he talking about? Good. Good.
I'm
All
sorry,
right.
quick question.
Yes.
Did you say 36 times a year?
We'll get into that another thing. So there's the 36 touch. It's another class that we teach, and it's
Okay.
a touch could be a text message, a mailer. They can be passive as well. So
Mhm.
I know that Todd Haig teaches a really good class on that. I'll make sure they get it scheduled out here shortly. It's like
Perfect.
mailing out recipe cards just sold. Those are all touches.
Nice. Thank
Yeah,
you.
of
I like
course.
it. Yeah, thanks.
All right, so they say there's just 3 levels of a millionaire database. There's level 1, which is essential, level 2, effective, and level 3, exceptional. So these are the different, basically, when we get most people to come in to our database, we're gonna get their essential info. We're gonna, with their name, their contact info, their past business and past contact record. It'll be more like at-will communication. So it's the basics of somebody being entered into your database. Hi, can I talk to you and know a little bit about you? This is what I have, these 4 things. So that's essential to even have somebody in your database. Like if you have a name and no phone number, name and no contact, it's as if the name's not there at all. But like I said, the contact could be Facebook, it could be Instagram. Obviously, we'd want a phone number, email, or address the most, but whatever we can work with. And then we're going to move over to the effective, and that's where you're going to like obtain permission to basically market to them. And this is verbal. It's not like sign this so I can send you that. It's kind of the next stage in developing a relationship with them. This will where you'll be able to collect personal information, insights, preferences, like, oh, I didn't realize that you grew up right here in St. Paul. Oh, my kids go to that school too, or my niece and nephew are over here, over there. So then you're kind of taking that initial group and you're being able to segment them into different marketable groups. So yeah, you can take what we look through step 1 through 6 and really break out kind of different ways to market to all these different people. And then you want to make sure with your effective leads that you're having purposeful and consistent communication. We want to get to a place where you're not reintroducing yourself every time you speak with them. Like once you get to a certain point, they're going to be like, oh, hey, I haven't talked to you in a few months. How are you? They're going to ask you how the market is. You're going to have your conversation. So then the next time you make a contact with them, they're going to know exactly who you are, what you're going to talk about. They'll hopefully have you saved in their phone. And then, bless you. Then we get over to the exceptional. So automated custom communication built around triggers, a smart plan, a drip campaign, where your database is able to nurture itself almost because you have enough information and have developed enough of a relationship with these people that you can have more of a hands-off approach. So a lot of this can be done through command, or if you get to the point through other people on your team or in your real estate career. For example, on my team, my communication with our clients starts the day that we have a fully executed purchase agreement. Then that's where I come into that. And then the real estate agents who I work for know that I'm going to be taking care of the behind the scenes, so they don't have to check in on the day-to-day because I will give them updates. So it grows to the size that your team is. Even an individual could get to this point. This when if somebody were to bring on an assistant, they can help with your touches as well. There's a lot of different ways it could go. So now we're going to go over why use a database. I know we've talked about it quite a few. Let's see. So to use a database, you're going to avoid the today trap, and you're going to get a predictable return on investment. So that means like, if you, like for me, when I start my day, I can look at my database and go, okay, mine's set up in a way that these are the 12 people I need to contact now. These are the tasks that I need to complete. And then I can kind of stay on track for the day instead of just if one thing came up before I even looked at my database, all of a sudden I'm 4 hours in on something I wasn't expecting. So it kind of helps you make sure that your day is predictable. It helps you kind of control it a little better. And through that, you'll be able to strengthen your service and relationships as well. So going off that, there are two types of business. We have today's business and tomorrow's business. So without a database, your business is only built for today. Only what is going on today. It's not future looking at all. So based on the National Association of Realtors, people are moving every 10 years. If they're only focusing on people doing business today, they're only focusing on 10% of the business that can be done. With 10 years between transactions, agents who don't leverage systems to stay top of mind end up experiencing their clients using different agents. So by taking control of the database and having personal, consistent approach to their contacts is how you can build a path to the future with repeat and referral business. And I think it has some visual guides coming up. So these are, let's say these are 100 people in our market right now, right? 65 of them are looking to be homeowners and 35 are not, just right off the bat. And out of the 65, 58 of those people are off the market. The remaining 7 people are your today business. So if we go, we're going from this, oops, this to this pretty quick, right? So if we're only focusing on today, we're limiting ourselves to just those 7 people that will hopefully work with us, and we have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day, the next month, going forward. Anybody have any questions? Okay. So to take advantage of a predictable return on investment, it's usually 10 to 1 or 14 to 1. So for every dollar that you invest in your database activities, expect at least $14 back. If that makes sense. And the number will change between like the 10 and 1, the 14 and 1 as you grow your database more. But first off, this is usually where all new agents start out. Some agents get as high as 40 to 1. So $1 invested, $40 back. And this is through consistent communication with your database and especially your sphere of influence. Because for each customer that we have, there's going to be 3 costs that come with that. There's going to be the cost of generating the lead. That could be time, that could be money, that could be a Facebook ad, that could be a newspaper ad. Then there's the time that's converting that lead to being a customer. And then there's the converting that customer into a referral after you've completed business with them. There's 3 important considerations. There's the lowest lead cost. The cheapest customer acquisition strategy is to work with existing customers and people who know and like you already. People you have a rapport with, a relationship that they'd be excited to buy a home with you without little to no effort on your end. Lowest conversion cost is when properly built and maintained, a database will actually end up producing its own leads in the form of repeat clients and referrals. It will also have the lowest conversion cost. Or then we can get to where it pays for itself, where a database makes it easier to do consistent follow-up. And when you're good at consistent follow-up, the resulting leads will end up paying for themselves. All right, 2 ahas so far before we move on. what's somebody going like database ahas, or you can tell me you already knew all this, or
I think the 14-to-1 conversion stood out to me. I feel like I wasn't expecting it to be, that great of a return, especially in the beginning.
totally. It's amazing what your database can provide and will provide. All right, one more. Don't make me be a bully and pick people. Hey, you have the same name as me, Michael. You're up.
I don't know. I think all of this makes sense so far. And I don't know. I think it's a slow aha, not a single moment or anything, but it's so helpful. Thank you.
Sure thing. Awesome. All righty. So now we're going to move more into developing your database. Let's see. So one thing we want to do is we want to feed it constantly. And there's two ways to feed your database. It's through prospecting or marketing. Marketing requires money. It's passive. So it means that the leads, you wait for the leads to find you, but you're paying for the advertisement. Prospecting, on the other hand, will require time. It's proactive, so it means that you're going to do the groundwork to find these leads. Oops. So the best combination they have found is to be prospecting based, but marketing enhanced. So we're always going to start with the prospecting, and then we're going to kind of fill in the gaps and bolster that up with some marketing as well. Then we see it broken down in that triangle as well, where like at the top, it's the most expensive, and at the bottom, it's the immediate results. So like prospecting, door knocking, open houses, up to money intensive running Facebook ads, paying for leads from places, whether it be Zillow, Referral Exchange, anything like that, people do as well. So after you're feeding it constantly, we're going to segment it into groups. We're going to do it with example tags like business relationships, somebody who hasn't done any business yet, to active clients, past clients. So really break it down by who they are in terms of where they are in your status of doing business. Then we can go through like what their hobbies and interests are, property type that they're looking for or have purchased. They're an investor or a vendor. Then you want, like if they've worked with you before, we're going to do a home anniversary, send them a card on their home anniversary. They'll never expect it at first. But then when they have a friend come over and they see that card in the fridge that has your advertisement on it, who's the agent they're going to call, hopefully. Stuff like that. Just sold cards to the whole neighborhood that you just sold a house in. Like, hey, this house just sold for this in 15 offers in 3 days. Now's a great time to sell. That's another way to do that as well. So you want to try as hard as you can to find a common ground with these clients, something that you relate to that's not just business. Like, what is the relationship building aspect that you share in common? Oh, I love skiing too, or can't wait to get the boat in the water, anything like that. And then we want to be able to segment it into the groups where we have the two main groups, which is leads and contacts. So a lead is not yet a contact, but once we've developed a rapport with them, have had conversations with them, and really nurtured that lead, then it becomes a contact. The switch is not so finite for every single person. You know, when you know, like when you like feel like you're talking to somebody and you're going to be doing business with them, as opposed to if you call a lead and you're like, yeah, I don't know, that's still a lead. But once they're like, yeah, I'm looking to buy in like 3 and 6 months, put that in your calendar, make the contact 3 months later. And then And then, I mean, in Command, it's super easy to go. You can do your own custom tags. Go in, you can change color, tag type. You can do this in every database just to kind of be like, however your mind works. It's really subjective at this point. Like maybe you want to use one color for people who live in the metro, another color for people who live up north, like something like that. And you might want to even go down further to buyer, seller, renter, investor, first-time home buyer, somebody I met at an open house. Because when you assign these custom tags in Command itself, you actually can search that custom tag and everyone it's applied to will come up. So if you're like, hey, I want to know all the people I met at open houses in 2020. It'd probably be like none, I just realized because the COVID, but 2021. And you could search and get a whole list of all their contacts, all right there, just by applying a tag. And if you ever have any questions about Command specifically doing tags, check in with Jordan and Heather. I'm sure they'd be happy to sit down with you and do a run through on it. Or Shannon Harris also doing a class at the end of the month, I believe, as well. So the leads and the contacts. So we have the different touch campaigns. So it's 19 touches to connect with somebody, 36 touches to convert them. So a quarterly phone call to somebody, there's 4 touches right there in a year. If you send out a monthly email, there's 12 more touches. If you send them a calendar and maybe a direct mailer, that's 2 more touches. And then once the world comes back to normal, we can go through maybe having an annual event or a party, happy hour. Those are all touches. Now, if you wanted to get more into it, you could do 26 touches, which would be like a bi-weekly email offering information of value. We want to make sure that we're offering things that are going to add to people's lives or inform them of things. Yeah, so you can kind of see what we mean by touches. It's just a connection, whether it be active or passive. And I think this is on page 5 of your participant guide. And so you'll have access to this as well. And this is all just because real estate is a business that's sustained through relationships. So we want to be in relationship with everyone as often as we can. And there's 2 ways to tend to your database. One is build a culture around testimonials and reviews. Don't be shy. Ask for that review after you've done business with somebody. Put it on your Facebook. Put it on, if you have your own website. There is no shame in knowing that you've done a good job and being commended for it. This is how you can get yourself out there. I don't know, anytime I buy something on Amazon or something, I scroll right down to reviews and be like, all right, hit me with the facts. Is this something I need to buy, or is this something that I should probably look for something else? So I know on our team, one day after closing, I send out an email to the client, thanking them, congratulating them, and with detailed instructions on how to leave a review on our Facebook page. After that point, if they don't want to leave, I'm not going to push any harder after that. I'm going to ask. If they said they were working on it, I may follow up. But if there was no response, I'm just going to let it go. If that makes sense. All right, 1 second. All right, and then the next one. And then you want to regularly update and prune your database. You want to make sure that you only have people in your database who it makes sense to have in there. Somebody moves to Alaska, they might still be your friend, but you're probably not going to sell them a house in the Twin Cities. But you might be able to find them an agent who can. So you kind of want to update, like make sure when addresses are changing and you're learning about that, you want to update those as well. That way you're having up-to-date information that you can rely on. And how we feed our database, we want to make sure it's healthy as well. That it has what it needs and it doesn't have excess information that's irrelevant or out of date. Did anyone think there was so much to a database?
Yes.
It seems daunting, but once you get in the habit of it and like maintaining and nurturing it, it's just kind of an everyday task.
Yeah. I think for me, the key point, exactly what you said, nurturing it is the most important thing. Like really carving out a few hours every, 3 or 4 days a week at least to nurture it is so important. And it will pay off. Everybody on my team that has been doing this they're successful because of their database. So, and because they nurture it and they take time to do that. So
9 to 11 is a great time for lead gen and nurturing your database.
And you just block everything out. For me, what I'm finding, and I'm trying to really get better at this, is I'm so good at multitasking. I always have been, but you shouldn't multitask when you're doing this. It should just be the only task that you're doing. So
Totally.
Yeah. Ignore the other emails, the phone calls, that is the time. And so I'm working really hard to not multitask while doing that. So.
Yeah, and you'll get there, and it's just learning, and it almost feels so wrong. Like if you saw your phone ring, not to answer it, but you're like, if you can focus and be like, I'm lead generating because I want to make whatever your big why is, whatever drives you to be successful in your business, you need to think about it when you're lead generating. Like what is going to get me there?
Right. And I think we're so used to like being present and with the social media, with our phone, really being immediate, and because that's what we want for me personally anyway. I want to be responded to right away. Right. But we do need to find that time to set aside for nurturing our database. And then also, we've talked about this in one of the last segments, was family time, like really delegating your time. For me, that's what I'm learning and trying to focus on doing is I have time to nurture my data. I have time to be with my family. I have time to go and show homes or research so this is, as a new agent, that's what I'm working on. So
for sure. And it's really important that you already know that, because it's okay to have a shut off time. Have you called an agent's phone number that says, I'm sorry, if I receive this message after 6 p.m., I will respond to you tomorrow after 9? Set clear expectations. I actually don't accept any phone call after 5, but I'm not in active production. But she asked if I had that on my phone, but most agents do. I let mine ring after 5. Yeah, and just kind of going through that. No, let's see. So now, before we get to the next section, we're going to do a little practice lead gen, where I'm going to leave you for a little bit and let you guys make some calls or tend to your database, and then we're going to recap afterwards. But like start to finish so far, what's your ahas, or what are your thoughts on what we've gone over today? Like maybe something that's scary, maybe something that seems easy.
Well, I think for me, the scary part is just having so many contacts and getting them into, we use Boomtown, and I haven't used Command yet, but I would like to start doing that. So just being overwhelmed with the whole technical side of it and getting, there's already so much to learn, agency and relationship and your buyers and, your PAs, all of that kind of stuff. I am really lucky because I have a team of people that have been incredibly supportive to me with that, but it's still just being patient and with myself, and knowing that I don't need to know everything right now at the moment. So yeah, I think just trying to take one step at a time, and
Exactly.
you're not going to know everything right away, and that's okay. And I found with my clients, I have a few clients already, and I'm really thankful. I'm closing on my first property on the 10th of March.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, and I just signed another buyer. And just knowing that they don't know what you're doing either. Like they're depending on you. So even if you don't know everything, that's okay.
Mhm.
As long as you can make sure you find out what you need to know for your client, that's super important. So reminding myself of that, like I don't have to know everything, and I don't have to have everything in the database right away, but
Right. And there's no problem saying, you know what, let me get right back to you. I just want to make a quick call. I want to get some clarification. I want to bring you the best answer possible.
absolutely.
I think another way to look at it too is like with this whole, it is a daunting process. Like you're right, you're learning this, you're learning that. You're segment it out just like your database. What are you working on today? Today I'm going to get agency down perfectly. That's my big why for the day, or big rock rather. But another way to think of it is if it's been done before, it can be done again. Anyone else some ahas?
I think I can just piggyback on what Marlo is talking about, like your customers or clients, buyers, sellers, whoever you're talking to has no idea that you don't know what you're doing. As long as you don't convey that. Like Mike, you're helping me on that transaction right now, and I just fake it all the time with
Oh, is this Beth?
yeah, these
Hi, Beth.
hi. These I'm not on video because I'm actually at work. I'm on video now.
Oh, you're fine.
My clients like have no idea that I mean, obviously my existing daycare clients do, but like my clients that I'm working with have no idea that I don't know what I'm doing, which I don't, because we have such strong systems in place at KW, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And even Beth, if it makes you feel better, I just did my first transaction with Condo Docs 3 weeks ago. So I'm getting there. Every day there's stuff I come across that I haven't done before. So it's totally, yeah, I'm fake it till you make it, but provide the best service possible.
Absolutely. And reach out to our community. And we have such a great community to do that with, whether you're on a team or not. You know, there's the resources are there. This is why I chose Keller Williams and this team, and to be part of such a great organization where they do mentor and they do help and they do want to be part of your business and help you be successful. It's super important.
Awesome. So we're going to go over just some ahas to achievement, and then I'm going to send you guys out to do some, well, you can stay at home and do it, but go out and get some more information. Maybe you have those contacts with names. I'm going to challenge you to get some phone number and email, find them on Facebook. We'll go through that in just a second, and then we're going to recap and tally it up, and then we'll see who wins for most contacts. So the ahas to achievement, I'm going to ask these, and I'm going to ask that people answer them. So how has your thinking changed so far? What mindset has changed when the database is brought up now?
I think for me, it's changed as seeing it as more of a fluid thing, a fluid system, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
not just like, I think what I've done so far is just kind of enter people, you know, blindly enter them. And so to see it as really something you have to nurture and maintain, and it's an evolving, I don't know, group of people, I feel like that's changed my thought process.
So what do you feel differently about, and what did you like think about, and maybe nothing today, but when you like saw the database and we went over it, like when you were just like, oh my God, I had no idea. Or any other level of meaningfulness.
I think, Mike, was that you talking earlier? I'm kind of in and out of this, but the idea of it being a living
Mhm.
thing, and like you have to nurture it, you have to feed it, you have to water it, or it's just gonna die.
Yeah, totally.
It's
It
like
sounds
a
dramatic, but it's so true.
it's a relationship. It's you have a relationship with your database. Like if you don't, exactly, Beth, if you don't nurture it and water it and feed it, it will not grow. It will die. So to be able to do that, and I think for me, having, and I think for so many people, having been through COVID this last year, was, I'm such a social person and I love events and I love parties. And this is one of the reasons I got into real estate, right? Was I love connecting people. I love helping people. I love being an artist, making things for people. And so for me, my database is, I'm trying to really think of it as that, like I can connect with these people and nurture the relationship and personalize it. Be creative with your database, like go above and beyond. Like don't just send out text messages, go and send out maybe they where they work, and you can, even during COVID, you can bring some cookies and drop them off, and then bring cards. And so all of that is part of the nurturing process that will help grow your database and make it be strong and keep growing. So yeah, I think that's personalizing it. I guess my point is really making it your own and what works for you, because like you said, everybody is different and how you process things and think about things. I mean, maybe it is just text messaging for you. Maybe it isn't sending out handwriting letters. That's not your thing. But if you can be creative, especially today, since it's so hard to connect with people appreciate it and like that. I know for me, the handwritten letters, people are like, oh, Marlo, you've never done that before. And so now that I'm doing that, like, and this has just been my close friends and family that I've done that to, but they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to bring your magnet and put it up at my office. So
Nice.
it's really, yeah, that is really, really important, because those things are what, like you said, are just going to be the snowball effect of creating a business in the future, which is so important to what we do. So
Use your friends and families and loved ones, old roommates, people from college. They can be your guinea pigs.
Yes.
That's how you can hone in and know what you want to do. Because if you send something out that you like 5 weeks later, you're like, what the heck was that? You're gonna be, you sent it to one of your friends, and they could probably wrote back like, that was weird, and then you're like, okay, cool, note taken, gonna practice with them, we'll move on to other people afterwards.
Right.
So what behaviors, I know we kind of touched on that with you, Marlo, but anybody else, like behaviors that you're going to approach differently after we talked about this today?
I feel like what Marlo said about the personalization thing is kind of ringing true with me too. Like I've been licensed since January, and I did spend some time. I mean, I hand entered like 200 people into my database, and I was really excited when I got them on a smart plan, like a neighborhood nurture. And then, like some of them I reached out to personally and said, I mean, some of them are on my social media. Some of I'm just kind of rethinking it now, and I go, oh, before I send out that next like neighborhood nurture, maybe I should change it a little bit and personalize it a little bit more, and just say, hey, just wanted to let you know I'm totally here to help you as your age. I don't know what exactly to say, but just to make it more like, I'm letting you know what I'm doing. I'm asking you, coming from contribution, and like, I'm not just assuming that you are looking at every picture I post on Instagram. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Totally. Be shameless with your database. You're looking for business. That's why they're in there. Get in front of as many people as you can. What else? Has anybody learned anything today about like how they're going to focus on accountability with themselves? How are you going to hold yourself accountable to feed and nurture this database?
I think lead generation's hard, as we've all said, and it's probably not my favorite thing to do, but I think it's good, like we said, to schedule it into the day, into the morning, have a set time every day that you're going to do this, and do it, if it's a hard thing, it's a challenge for you, do it first and then do the things that you enjoy more later. I think that's personally what I'm going to do.
Yeah, totally. Reward yourself, get the stuff out of the way you don't want to do and be like, now I'm going to do what really works for me later, but I'm going to get what I don't really love doing done first. And then once you get in that habit, it's just going to keep going.
I think for me, I realized that I need to absolutely, like when you talk about committing yourself to whatever you're doing, so for an hour and a half of lead gen or whatever you're doing, like I've even, like my husband and I are trying to figure out how to reconfigure our house to have me have a home office. And I thought, well, I'll take the front bedroom because it overlooks the street and I can see everything that's going on. And now in the last week, I've decided to go in the middle bedroom where I literally can only see the side of my neighbor's house, because otherwise I'll be like Mrs. Kravitz and I'll know everything that
You're
everybody.
like, oh, look, a squirrel.
Yes.
Yeah. I relate to that. I sit with my back to a window. Awesome. So this is a great way to start gauging your daily success in real estate. 10 contacts a day. Whatever it takes to get those 10 contacts in. 10 conversations a day, 10 handwritten notes, and 10 home previews per week. Get a stack. I think just pick up some cards at the store, have them on your desk and be like, you know what, I'm going to text this person, but it's not super time sensitive. Maybe I'll send them this card instead. I don't know. I never get mail unless it's a bill. So I like getting mail, you know? So just think of it that way. Get creative. And if you start to get these into your daily actions, it's just going to be natural.
I think on our team, we have to quantify our contacts, and that's really hard. Like, I don't give myself enough credit for how many contacts I actually make every day. And I think if we really think about our daily interactions, we have more contacts than we think we do.
And have those ears out. Well, we used to be able to go places when you hear, like, realtors have like this way of hearing the word home and sale from like 450 feet away. They just focus on that and run with it. Like, you're in a coffee shop, you hear somebody wants to sell their house, have that card in your pocket. Boom, one contact.
Yes.
And if you drink a lot of coffee, that could be like 3 or 4 a day. Awesome. Oops.
Also networking with people in our community. Like I'm on a team, but we set up time to partner and like make each other accountable for what we're doing. And for me, that's been really important because it is a new process, and just like you said, getting into the habit of it, it will become second nature.
Mm-hmm.
So really being disciplined about saying, okay, I'm going to be in the office today from 8:30 until 11, and then I can do showings after lunch or whatever. But to do that is really important. We have Tuesday nights where we go in and make calls together and have food and drink wine. Like, so make it fun. It doesn't have to be in the morning all the time. There could be other times at work where you can, and especially because of COVID, where we've been so separate from each other, if you can find a person that you can work with, maybe that would be helpful to some people. So
totally. And then once we get into these habits, and people for Command, and other databases can do this as well, you'll be able to run reports in Command that are kind of like showing your efficiency with this, like how many contacts did I add this week? How many did I add the week before? So it's quantifiable, and then you can really set your goal that's attainable. So one of the daily success habits is memorizing and internalizing scripts, whether you do that alone or with a script partner. It's important because you can practice and internalize scripts. It's like a presentation. You want to sound like you've had this conversation before, that you know what you're talking about, and that they can be confident in you. They know that you're going to close those deals and come up and be able to really come to bat for them. And that's what happens when we practice these scripts. your confidence grows, you know what you're talking about, and half the time you already know what you're talking about, you're just getting jumbled up on your scripts. So if you practice them, there's no reason you'll walk out without a signed by your rep. And you can control the conversation. You can use purposeful language that helps you get to the end point, which obviously is a closed transaction. But you can kind of direct where the conversation is going by having those objection handlers you've practiced before. And then you can really see, like, why is this seller trying to move, or why does this buyer need to buy a new house? Through your script practice, you can really get down to the nitty gritty of what makes this client tick and how can I best serve them. And then you can go off the script. You can ad lib on the script once you've practiced it. If something comes up that you haven't really talked about before, but you're confident, just always be nurturing your scripts as well. Change them up, make sure they're still exciting, engaging. Because what if someone was like, hello, my name is Mike. I'd really like to sell you a house. I'd be like, good luck. No way. So just really make sure you're practicing them and with your delivery and everything like that.
We can do it another.
Mike,
Yes,
where can we get those scripts?
I believe they're in the packet. They're not, hold on. I can send out the scripts. Give me 1 second.
Thank you so much.
I know they're somewhere. I think I have them right. One second. I'm sorry. I thought they were in the packet. Da, 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 da. All right, I'm gonna go grab them. I think they're at the front desk. I'll be right back. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So they're going to send out the scripts today. I'm sorry, I thought they were already in the packet.
It's okay.
We also have script binders all around the office that you'll see that are free to use whenever you're here as well. But Jordan's going to get those sent over just to everybody who's in Ignite.
Thank you.
Of course. All right, 1 second. All right. So we're going to take the next 20 to 30 minutes. I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to ask everyone to take the next 30 minutes and just either practice some scripts you've been working with, call some clients or potential clients to get some more information, feed your database, kind of anything we talked about today. And then after we see you guys for the next half an hour, go through it. I want to kind of talk about when you come back and how it went, any roadblocks you hit, any ahas you had. Does that sound good?
Yes, thank you.
All right, I'm going to come back at 2:30.
Did you see that, were you copied on that email? Maybe not. That appraisal went through, but they just need to.
Oh yeah, it needs to be verified by underwriting, but it looked good.
Sounds
Be
good.
good.
Today.
Yeah. That one seems to be moving right along.
Mhm.
Nice. So how'd it go for everyone?
I signed a buyer rep agreement while we were on break.
Boom. There you go. That's awesome.
I wasn't doing the assignment. It just happened. It was a coincidence. But hey, I'll take it.
Hey, remember what you said earlier? They don't know what we don't know. For all I know, you were working on your database.
I was not.
Anyone else have any good conversations or good insights into their database?
I was trying to set up smart plans, which I've never done before. And I am not 100% sure if I did it right, but at least I tried.
Nice.
So I was kind of wondering, like, as I was doing it, what's a good, so if you have somebody that says, oh, it's so great to hear from you. I'm looking to potentially buy in the future here soon. Is there like a specific plan that would be good to nurture that kind of relationship?
I know that in smart plans, you can go into like a crowd-based, like different smart plans all through Keller Williams. I don't know what it would be called, but you kind of want to gauge, like, are they 1 to 3 months out or 4 months plus? Because I would kind of change if I was looking at putting them on maybe a monthly nurture or a quarterly nurture.
Okay.
So you want to gauge how serious they are in the moment, like, and then find out what their timeline is.
Okay.
To kind of gauge how much you should be communicating with them. Because if they're not looking to buy for a year, you talking to them every month is a lot of time on your part.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That helps. Thanks.
But yeah, search, if you go to answers.kw.com, and look up smart plans, there should be like the whole community thread of different ideas. And I think there is actually a library within Command. I'll confirm that and send out that you can look for pre-made smart plans.
Okay.
Kate, tell me about your database. How's it been going since you got moved into the active real estate role?
Well, yeah, so I am on a weekly chat with Matt Brown, my coach. And so I kind of set up a goal with him every week as to how many I should add. So yeah, initially I just put in everyone I knew from my phone, from Facebook, from like years of just being alive. And now I'm kind of trying to do the little door knocking, and any kind of information I can glean from my door knocking, I've been putting into my command too. So I kind of am held accountable by Matt, thank God, because it's a hard thing to do. So I try to add like 40 a week, I guess. That's what I've been doing. It can be hard, but you know, that's my goal every week.
Nice. So
Yeah.
everyone on this call is either coaching with Matt or Alec, right? Perfect.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of an accountability partner.
Mhm.
Because I sometimes just laying on the couch just seems so awesome.
For sure. Yeah.
So if you have somebody
Basically
who says,
anything
get
else.
up.
Mhm. Right.
Good.
Mhm.
Did anybody have any more like, aha? I know I will say this word so many times, aha, and I'm like, how many times have I said it? But even thinking about what we went over today, any ideas that you kind of sparked in your head that may be changing about how you want to approach your database? It's okay if you don't have any ideas yet, because I threw so much information at you in 1 hour.
My idea is to approach my database.
Okay. You always have to start
I
somewhere.
haven't done it, so that's my big aha.
Nice.
Thank you.
Of course. Is anybody still feeling like the database is terrifying and you don't know where to start?
That's me.
Okay. Well, I think you picked where to start. You could just, I think, as one step forward, just keep moving. I think what big family reunion quote, 1% better every day.
Yeah.
Nice. So I'm not going to keep everyone till 4. We'll probably go right till about 3, but I kind of wanted to open it up for discussions amongst yourselves. You're all the agents. Maybe questions, concerns, pick other people's brains, but let's get this a little interactive. Ask a question to the group instead of me, or share on past experiences.
I would like to have a script for, to send cards to people. How do you say my English first is not that good, and second, it's not my imagination.
Yeah. So I would start out by thinking, what message are you wanting to get across in these cards? Like, what is your ultimate goal that when somebody receives one of these cards, what do you want to get back from it? Maybe script it out like that. Like, are you looking for sellers? Are you looking for buyers? Just start at that point. Maybe you're targeting a neighborhood where you have clients that want to move there, but there's absolutely no inventory. Just kind of find what your goal of the card is. And I don't know if anybody else wants to speak to that or has any ideas.
This is a quiet group. We're being really quiet today.
It's okay. I talk a lot, so I'll keep going. But I think with anything with your database, you just want to make sure what you're putting out there and how you're talking to your database is in a productive fashion that's going to accomplish the goal you have set out for that card.
Oh my gosh.
I think for me, like one big challenge is, sorry, I will start my video. One big challenge is really feeling like I accomplish anything, like to recognize that I'm not going to get a tangible outcome from what feels like gross work, Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, because we don't always see that return like we're used to it in like real life.
Mm-hmm. Like the immediate gratification of a business exchange doesn't take place when you're doing that icky work.
Actually sleeping.
Yeah. Well, don't wake them up then.
Yeah, and that can be tough. And I think it has to be a mindset that you know that you're nurturing your database. Like we were talking, like it's like if you were planting a plant that wasn't going to grow for 3 years after you planted it, but you still took care of it like you would. But yeah, I think it's just really getting down to the nitty gritty of what are you looking to accomplish. But the tough part, Beth, is not having that immediate gratification of, because usually you send somebody a card and they either call you or to thank you, or they send you a card back, but that's not necessarily going to happen when you're sending cards to 100 people.
Right. And I guess I feel pretty connected to my social community. I feel very connected even with COVID. And for me, I have to like rebrand myself, as I used to be this person to them, like the person with all the early childhood answers and they connected me. I have a good network of people that always think of me or come to me with questions about that. And I need to know that they trust me enough that I can change my area of focus and know that those same people will still trust me with those
Mhm.
questions. I hope. I don't know.
I think just from an outsider point of view on that is, I think you first need to trust yourself with it, because you're not going to be able to convey that to other people if you're not confident with it. Like
Yeah.
knowing what you don't know is okay, as long as you take the actions to learn it. Like we were saying earlier, these people, they don't know this is your transaction 1, 2, 3. They use Keller Williams, use them as the backboard, like largest agent count worldwide. Like start with that. And you have to find that confidence though in yourself first, and then it will be
Andy was
conveyed.
telling us last week about, I can't remember what he called it, not negative self-talk, maybe somebody else remembers, but like I tend to sell myself short a lot.
For sure, I'm in the same boat. I think we all do. I think we all are like, nobody wants to hear with me. Why would they let me sell their house? You're like, you haven't even talked to them. Like,
No,
yeah.
something that I really love is like this like fake it until you make it.
Exactly.
And to be honest, that's something that has been good for me. And to, you know, sometimes there is some kind of clients which I can be very honest and tell them like, you know, I don't know that, but I'm gonna find out.
Mhm.
And I know another ones that are very picky. So like last week, one of them asked me like, hey, do you work with new construction? I haven't done anything about it, but knowing how she is, and everything was by text. So I told her, yes, I know. So something that I did, I
Yeah,
went
I
to
know it
the
exists.
Facebook.
Let me find out about it.
I went to the Facebook group, Keller Williams group, and I start asking questions. And that's something that I really love about
Mhm.
our company, our office, because a lot of people start like, okay, like telling me stuff about it. I talked to a couple of them, so I learned a lot. In the meantime, I told my client, okay, I'm kind of busy right now, but I'll talk to you in about a couple hours just to
Totally.
let you know about it. But she was still like asking questions like, is that more expensive? And like, so I didn't answer because I didn't know. Once I hear everything from my coworkers and, you know, everything in the office, then I called her and I told her everything about it. So it feels great, you know, when you get that kind of people in the office that can help you. So, and like I said, it's like fake it until you make it. And that has worked for me. And about, you know, like lead generation, I don't like it, but when I do it, I always got some results.
Mhm.
People, and I never start like, and I'm a real estate agent. I just like, hey, how are you doing? I haven't talked to you, or I hope you are doing well, or something like that. And then when they answer back, they tell me, hey, I know that you are a realtor. You know, I'm thinking about buying a house in a couple of months or something. Or they ask questions about it. So it works. Sometimes
Yeah.
we are kind of lazy, and I say it because I am like, as you know, I work at the hospital. Sometimes I don't feel with the energy to do it,
Mhm.
but being an Ignite has helped me a lot because I know that I have to do it, and I always got results. So it is a good thing. Lead generation, it works.
It works. It's just not always fun.
I know.
So you gotta
It's
find a
not.
way to make it fun. I think that a great way to look at it too is we don't just sell houses. We're in the business of building relationships. Because you should get your clients to be like, oh, I want to put a new bathroom in. You want to know who knows people who build bathrooms? Realtors. I know a realtor. Let me call my realtor. So it's kind of just widening your net. So you don't just sell houses. You're a great resource for your part of the community. Maybe people who work with food shelves, like find your little niche and use it as leverage.
I agree. There is my first clients from last year. Until today, sometimes they call me just to ask things about, you know, electricity, or a bill that they got or something that they don't know about. And yeah, it feels good when it's not just about doing business, but they think that, like, everything, and they reach to you to get any advice or help. So it is good.
Totally. Like a good thing. Let me look into that. I'll get right back to you. Perfect. Nice. Anyone else with some ahas or anything you want to discuss before we have about 15 minutes left?
I can add one thing, Mike.
Yeah.
One thing that I've noticed helps me is I have said, I've admitted that I'm new, and of course I fall back on, I'm on the Highland team, so I have a lot of experience, or my family has a lot of experience. So I can always ask them, if I don't know, but I've also said, because I'm new, I'm very hungry and enthusiastic. And that has actually gone pretty well for me to say that, just because it's honest, but it's true. So I feel like people want someone that's not just kind of burned out. So, which you can easily get.
Oh, for sure.
So I just thought I'd share that because it's worked pretty well for me.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to bring anything up to the group? Work through anything?
I was just going to ask, so I was wondering if anybody has any good advice on how to reach out to like old friends that you haven't talked to in ages, but like a good intro line besides "how are you doing?" Because it seems kind of, I don't want to come off like I'm scamming them or just trying to get information out of them. And now I'm a realtor, so that's the only reason I'm contacting them. But yeah, I don't know if anybody's had a good.
Remember, you're bringing value. So, I have a kid like your age, and he can't wait to do business with his peers, and he wants them, your friends, they want you to do well. Trust me, I know they do. And you're helping, you're bringing value to them, right? In exchange for them trusting you. That's all.
Yeah, totally. I agree with Beth. And the message can be like, if you ever know anybody who needs assistance, it's not just, hey, can I help you buy or sell a house? You're like, if you know anyone who's ever looking like, I like to work in this area, I know a lot of plumbers or electricians and like Beth said, be a value add.
I also, I totally know how you feel. I felt like I didn't want any, and I think everyone feels this way. You don't want to come off as like, oh, here comes Kate. She's going to like talk to me about houses, and it's super annoying. But so I sent a letter out to all my friends, and like, I just addressed it in the letter. So it wasn't weird. I was like, I know you might get stuff like from your friends that are selling weird skincare lines and stuff like that. I don't want to be that. So, so I just kind of like was straight up about it and how, it can be kind of awkward. And then I tried to just say, I'm here for you if you want, and if you're thinking about it, or if you, like Mike, you said, if you have a friend that's thinking about it. So I just tried to be like honest about how weird it is, but also sincere. So
there are so many realtors.
Yeah.
So many, like, I'm a big fan of also like, don't lose yourself in it. Like, I would probably not like it if I became a completely different person. Like, I like who I am, and like, use that as your brand. Go out there, like, Kate, you're saying, hey everyone, this is weird, but if you'd like to buy or sell or know somebody, right? It is weird, but then instead of them having to go out and interview 10 realtors, they're like, oh, actually, my friend is a realtor. I've known them my whole life. I haven't talked to them in 4 years, but I know they're good people. So it's that shamelessness aspect I was talking about earlier.
That's actually the best advice I think I've ever gotten for this. Just be yourself. I don't know why. I don't know. It seems so simple, and address that it's weird. I love that.
Yeah, it's awkward. Real awkward.
And
Yeah.
like people get it because
Mhm.
they have maybe done similar things in their careers. or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. And I
Exactly.
feel like that'll make you come off as more authentic if you're just honest about it being.
Totally. Wow, I think so.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Awesome. Anyone else thinking about anything?
No, I just think that Kate is lucky because she has, her dad, her siblings, all already involved in real estate. And believe me, like when I need help, I reach out to them. Oh my God, they are great. So you are
Oh, that's so
lucky.
nice.
You are lucky.
Yes,
And
I feel very
you're-
lucky.
Yeah, you have a
There was
great
a day
family.
that Steve and Meg Highland were in the same shoes you were in.
I
when you first
know.
Started. Think about
That's
it that
right.
way. Like everyone has to start somewhere,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
and now they're
True.
machines.
They're just
Yep.
their
Churning
own
them out.
machines. I know.
Yeah.
Like back to like, if it has been done before, it can be done again. And Keller Williams has so many resources and so many people to just reach out to where, like, just reach out, be like, hey, I've never done new construction. Who can call me and give me a 15-minute spiel so I sound like I know what I'm talking about? And I bet you at least 10 people would be willing to take that phone call at any time. Use the whole office as a resource. They don't have to know that there's 170 people in this office and that you've never even met the person you're asking a question to. Hello, Steve Highland. I know, I was just talking about you. But yeah, just like ask questions, ask for help. Steve Highland, would you like to come over here and give me a 3-minute spiel on a database? But in front of the camera, please. The man, the myth, the legend is approaching. Oh, well, he's leaving actually. Okay. He made it halfway to the camera.
Database, because I added to his command database.
Oh, yeah. So that's all I have on database. I know I kind of went 17 ways and then came back to center and everywhere, but yeah, just get out there. And if you mess up, just never do that again.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks, Mike.
I'm gonna drop my my contact info in the chat in case anyone has any questions or ever
That's
needs any
great.
help. I do a ton of
Don't call
transactions on the
after
core
5,
routine.
right?
Not after 5. Well, maybe for you guys. Here we go. So yeah, reach out if you ever have any questions, want feedback. If you want to practice a script with me, I'll pretend to be somebody.
When do you have available?
Oh, Monday through Friday.
Anytime?
Not Mondays, actually. Tuesday through Friday, but. All right,
Thank
guys.
you,
Well,
Mike.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you,
Thank
Mike.
you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.